Look, okay, I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces bustin' out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces bustin' out the scene. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. I am not friendly, I came for the paper, little baby, don't get it confused. I see them paying to play, they be paying for pussy, my nigga, I'm paying my dues. They cannot see me unless I'm on TV in times when they happen to turn on the news. I am not worried about shit but the money, cause you cannot buy shit with all of them views. I've been on 10 like 4th grade, same nigga but I'm more paid. Lame niggas throwing more shade, but you know it don't faze me. I'm blowing out gas to the hole with hazy, with a new chick cause my old bitch crazy. Just a young player that the west side made me, but how could you blame me and how could you tame me? You can't pop in that pussy, you claim you a saint. Do what they can and they hate what they ain't, but I am the greatest, that ain't for debate. Raising the stakes and I'm eating them too. Hitters on deck, what you need them to do. Fuck all that talking, I leave it to you, cause I gotta go, got a meeting at 2. Tell me why all of the shit that you saying don't never match up with that shit that you do. We mobbing and thugging, you bitching and bugging, there's nothing that we got in common. I've been out grinding and hustling, investing this paper, got tired of eating that ramen. All of my music be heat, I ain't missing a beat, I've been blessed with impeccable timing. Watch all them people who friendly, it turn into envy whenever they see that you shining. Okay, I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces bustin' out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Living up life too quick. Ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac. Hitters in my contact. Live it up life too quick. Ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac. Hitters in my contact. Live it up life too quick. Ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac. Hitters in my contact. Live it up life too quick. Ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac. Hitters in my contact. Back up, hold up, bitch, just slow up. I don't know you. Hey, I got my door up, I can't slow up. Thought I told you. Hey, back up, hold up, bitch, just slow up. I don't know you. Hey, I got my door up, I can't slow up. Thought I told you. Hey, leave a hater in anguish. Test drive your main bitch. Better watch your language. You team switch, I lane switch. Energy on fuego. Hennessy, my Fago. Wonder where my day go. Sleep while my pay grow. Wrapping up my game leaf. Wrapping up this convo. Finish up my EP. It's cracking at my condo. Tell the plug, bring more now. I'ma need that refill. Hit her with that comeback. Now shorty feel like Z-Quill. Zipping up my Y3. Zipping up my OG. Niggas won't stand by me. Then act like they know me. Money in my missed calls. Niggas got me crisscross. Look at him, he pissed off. My balls covered in lip gloss. I'm smarter than she thinking, way cooler than your last man. Came to leave some blunt guts and rubbers in your trash can. I've been thought since yesterday, a clock, little bitch, I'm on one. Stacking paper like I'm trying to take it on the long run. Think I'm on the road like butter, baby, land a lake. I'm like motherfucker, government, a hater and a Jake. I've been off the antidote, I got no time to annotate. Got a feeling choosy, I think I'm the greatest candidate. Living up life too quick, ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac, hitters in my contact. Live it up life too quick, ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac, hitters in my contact. Live it up life too quick, ride around my new shit. Lemonade my cognac, hitters in my contact. Live it up life too.
Welcome to another edition of We-On-Loc Nation. I want to make sure my audio is good. I got something important other than more, of course, that I want to talk to you about. And that is, we'll get into it. Are we, as the Black community, Black folks, our own worst enemy? Are we, as Black people, our own worst enemy? But before we get into that, I just want to thank a couple of people who are going to be here a little bit later. One of them is Chicago Rilla. Now, you know Chicago Rilla. He's from the Peace saga, and it was pretty good for the most part. With Courtney and of course Anton, and all the rest of those cats. Shouts out to all of them, and of course Kayla should be here in a little bit. But here's the thing. This is the thing that I've been questioning for a very long time. Ever since, I would say, I go back 5 years, have we been progressing or have we been getting worse? Have we been progressing or have we been getting a whole lot worse in your opinion? Because I see, and I got my sound down, I don't know why. Well, I know why, because of my son. When I look at the news, she says it's getting worse. The lovely Lisa Carter says that we are getting worse. Well, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because you have a proportionate of Black men saying, giving the same old story. And the same old story would be that we got it worse more than any other white man, any other Chinese man, any other Indian, because they pay, society does not paint us in a real pretty picture. Thank you, Lisa. They don't paint us in a real pretty picture. And not everything is supposed to be pretty. Not everything is supposed to be pretty. Not everything is supposed to be sweet. Because of the simple fact that one of these times we're going to have to realize, we're going to look at the mirror, we're going to have to say, when is enough enough? We have no independent schools. We have no stores we can call our own. Very little stores in between here and between there. Nothing like Chinatown. Nothing like Koreatown, where they could just move in and this is home for them. And it doesn't matter. Guess what? We go to those particular places, right? We go to those places. We go to places like that to eat. And not realizing that most of those places don't even change their oil. They don't even change the cooking oil. But it's their place. I wish for the day that Black men would slow down or stop blaming things on Black females, because We are the most made ready, the most masculine men on the face of this planet. But yet we are acting just like the women themselves. Anytime you don't get your way, anytime a black man, and I'm not talking about all black men, when all black men, or excuse me, when a certain type of a man, I wouldn't technically call him a man, I would call him a boy, feels a little bit threatened by uh, a rule that somebody in their own developed establishment has given them, or so they feel threatened by, you know, someone's shoes, what they wear, or the car that they drive, or the woman that they have on their hip. It could be anything. You start to feel less than. It becomes competition, or it doesn't necessarily have to be competition. There's always a shoot 'em up thing. Now, fast forward on to this year, this year's um, uh, uh, show between a mother and her son. That's right. I have to harken back with Monique, the comedian, and her son, Sharon, I believe it was. It's very, very sad, and it's very, very sickening, especially when you have to um, put out your own personal business online. But yet I get it, and it goes the back and forth between the two. It's very sad, and I understand where he's coming from, because it seems like to me he has some type of mental illness. Because I believe he admitted it himself when he did that long diatribe, and then I understand her point. At some point in time, they're going to have to come together. At some point in time, they had to come together. But before we get into all that, I just want to play a little small clip, beginning with Brother Malcolm. This is the day and the day of which Malcolm passed away, or I want to say the word pass away. I don't want to say he was murdered. When the brother had left us due to the demise of his own people. Relatively, that's going to happen. Just like what happened with Nat Turner, what happened with Martin, so on and so forth. And the question still remains, are we our worst enemy?
The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women.
Yes, yes. It all starts with us. And we have our first guest, Miss Lewis Glenn. How are you? And you're on mute. Hello, you're on mute. And you're on mute.
I'm unmuted. I am well.
Hello, you're on mute.
I'm
on mute.
What's that? Unmuted. I am well.
Turn YouTube off. You're on mute.
What's that? Unmuted. I am well. There seems to be some auditory delay.
Are you on your phone?
There seems to be some auditory delay.
You either on your phone or you got
there seems to be some auditory delay. I am on my computer.
Either on your phone or you got you got to turn YouTube off.
I am on my computer.
Yeah, you got to turn YouTube off.
Okay. I am on my. Oh, that's a trick.
Oh, you got it? Go. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. Sorry about that. I am happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm here without delay now.
Okay. I'm going to get right to it. What do you when it comes to the community, as in the Black community, do you think after 5, maybe 10 years, we've been progressing, or we'll be getting worse?
Well, first of all, the scope of 5 to 10 years is a small scope, in my opinion. And are we making progress? The progress that needs to take place is the consciousness of our mental capacity, our following through with the tangibles of here and now, and lastly, looking at our future. So in the last 5 to 10 years, we've only been post-Obama, the savior of the world, right? And we have a lot more to look at than just that alone. And how are we now? And what do we anticipate and hope for our children and future generations is a serious question that we must ask and answer. So I'm here for the conversation for the next 45 minutes for you.
All right. So I had just played I had just recently played Brother Malcolm, and I believe this is what you told me. This is the day that he got murdered.
Today, February 21st, is the acknowledgement of the assassination and murder of our honorable Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz, and that's February 21st, 1965, and where he was assassinated. Everybody always has a story of what they saw, what they witnessed, but fast forwarding 50 years plus, we are now in the know of what has happened, and that his assassination and killing certainly was directed by the FBI, the police, and government officials. So we can remove that he was killed by his own. His own may have held the gun, but the motivation to terminate the Honorable Elijah Malcolm Shabazz, as we know, was directed straight from the source of the FBI. There's no question. And we are more powerful in knowing facts of what has happened than looking at what's obvious in information to say, oh, well, the mosque in New Jersey killed him. The Elijah Muhammad ordered the hit. All of those things. We have got to understand our enemy and who has always been our enemy and who has always perpetrated crimes against the African. And on this day, we pay our solemn respect and homage to Malcolm X, because he was assassinated by the American government for all of what he was and who he was. And we can talk about that further.
Yes, I do believe it was J. Edgar Hoover himself that orchestrated that whole entire assassination plot, just like so many others before. One of them would happen to be Martin, and the other one would be a young cat from the Black Panthers, and his name always escapes me every time I want to say his name. A 21-year-old, his name always escapes me, but I'll think of his name in a minute.
Well, when you talk about the history of the FBI, we got to go back and look and see that the FBI was created to stop the Black Messiah. So you go back to Garvey and any other leader that has risen to the forefront since Garvey in the early 1920s and beyond has been on the FBI target list of threat antagonists towards the American government. So any Black male that has risen to prominence, that has made himself known as we would want and hope our Black men to become, they have become the target of this government. So whether you're talking about Fred Hampton, you're talking about the Black Panther Party, you're talking about Marcus Garvey, you're talking about Dr. King, you're talking about Malcolm X, and anyone in between, you're talking about them all. The FBI, CIA, and American government had their target on them.
That includes Bob Marley.
Yes, Bob Marley included, and that goes into the 70s. So take a look at that whole span to say what?
Do you believe there is in this generation, in any generation, is there gonna be somebody amongst us that would have the guts, have the testicular fortitude to stand up and say, enough is enough, rise our people up to a point where they're not afraid anymore, that they're not afraid to stand up for what they believe in, and that's the survival of the African person or persons in America.
Well, first of all, you would say anyone who has regurgitated the sayings of Marcus Garvey, or any Pan-Africanist before him or thereafter after him, have the markings of what this United States government is looking for to assassinate. So I would sadly say, as a Black man looking at that, this is where your intimidation comes in. This is where your fear comes in. This is where you're wanting to preserve and live comes in. So therefore, you're not going to speak those things and what they said, or willfully knowing that if you say, rise up, African, you can accomplish what you will, in the sound and in the energy of Marcus Garvey, you too are going to be incarcerated. You too are going to be jailed. You too are going to be deported. And if you live outside of the United States, then you are just going to be assassinated by your government civil war and or direct assassination. However they bring those means to you. So if you really want to understand who you are, Black man, when you understand who you are, you realize that you have a target on your back no matter what you do.
Well, we have all this technology. I mean, we have, all this information that, that's the Gen X's of the world didn't even get. We have all this information. We have this, we have that, and so on and so forth. We don't need necessarily for a Black Messiah to arise. We just need to have the government help us out. Playing devil's advocate, by the way. We just need to have the government just help us out, give us a helping hand, because we are America. We built the Americas.
We, and all of that statement you said, is just as ignorant as anything that can be, okay? We are not the Americas. We are not the moving vehicle of America. The knowledge of self brings on such a tremendous undertaking and value to who we are. And when we look at self, we realize that it is self that needs to be built up, fortified, and in our communities to help us have that self-determination that Marcus Garvey spoke of, that all of the leaders that followed the principles of Pan-Africanism that spoke of. And so recently, within the last, I guess about a week, right? About a week since the Bob Marley movie has been released. And I saw the movie twice. I've seen it twice in 2 weeks. And what I love about it, and knowing far more truth than what was portrayed, is that it did give an honest scope of the Rastafari, and which is beautiful, because they continue to talk about the intertwining of Marcus Garvey sayings and Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia. So you got a commingling of religion, and you got the commingling of Black nationalism in the same vessel. And when you look at that movement, when you can see that they, in their simple principles, were saying I and I, Rastafari, to just make that commitment to each other, that we are one, and we are one African people. And we continue to say that, to acknowledge that we are one. And the words that separate us, we devoid ourselves of that. Have you had an opportunity to watch the movie yet? You're going to tell me no.
I didn't even know it was out. I didn't even know it was out.
It came out last Wednesday. I saw it on Friday. I saw it again on Monday.
Where can I see it?
Movie theaters. I don't know that it's streaming anywhere just yet.
Oh, okay. So it's out in the theaters. Okay. I guess that would be my assignment. That would definitely be my assignment to go see Bob Marley. Was any of his kids in it? Was any of his kids in it?
Not that I'm aware of any of his family were personally in it, but the story, the account of his life, and the account of the Rastafari movement and how it influenced him and how he remained humble, yet a man of notoriety, simple political ambition, and to unite his people, which were the African people of which he understood, and his quest for the homeland of Africa, as Marcus Garvey cried for in 1920. 1920. So here we are 100 plus years later, and the quest remains the same. So for a person like me who now has discovered Pan-Africanism, nationalism, and I see that the same cry was 100 years ago as it is now for the Black people to unite. I love it even the more. I'm not going to sit here. I don't like this title. So let's just say that. Let's just get it off my chest. Are we our own worst enemy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are people that are lacking the knowledge of self, of who we are currently, and whence we've come, and what we shall and can be in the future to come.
I agree. I mean, it's just a title. I mean, I could have put a question mark by it, but I mean, there's just certain things that I question, and then there's certain things I go, that's quite interesting. Like, I know we can do much, much better, but when you've been on these airwaves as much as I have, all you see is this, and here is the same torment over and over again. And we can never get anywhere without arguing amongst each other. This is just me. This is what I feel. This is what I've seen. This is what I've witnessed. And it takes somebody like me and a few other people to say, this is probable. This can be positive. This can turn into something interesting. We just got to work on it. Like, I'm just going to say it. When Dr. Umar is making progress in his school, when we see it, we go, it's quite interesting. When we have other people doing good in their fields, like Dr. Claude, I just want to mention Dr. Claude Anderson, he's on his way. He's already retired. Been there, done that. And he is just basking in his glory. Written 5 books, was a leader of the, I would call him the leader of the free world. And what I'm asking is there somebody that can replicate that? I don't see any. If you can tell me this is somebody, if you can give me a name, if you can give me a face, somebody who can replicate one of our great leaders, no matter who it is, I will be sure to tag this person and I will listen. That's the only thing I can do is just listen.
Well, if you honestly asking me for a name, the request for a name is null and void. Now, you are fully aware that I am a student of Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yep.
Dr. Umar Johnson has taught that there is not just one that comes and leads us all. That's the Christian mentality of we're waiting for a Christ to return. There needs to be multitudes of us taking our stance in every position that the Creator has given us to move forward in. So, for instance, last night I'm watching television and I came across the James Brown story about a 3 to 4 part story on A&E. Now, I knew a little bit more about James Brown before I was watching the story because I read the book, The Head Negro in Charge. I forget who the author is right now, but it was a book that Dr. Umar had given his class to read. And in that book, James Brown, the singer James Brown, who died on Christmas some odd years ago, I'm Black and I'm Proud, who was incarcerated, and all of the above, humble beginnings, became the legendary that he is. He honored the principles of self-determination. He had businesses and hotels and car washes in which he employed Black people to do the daily tasks and work and kept an economy going through his music for his community. Was he the one? Was he the one we were looking for? But the story goes on to tell that his demise came not because of the quote unquote drug charges, gun charges, assault charges. His demise came about because at some point during his journey, he decided that he was going to back a political candidate. And unbeknownst to us, who do not understand the world of politics, when you back one of the white supremacy horses, it is game over for you.
Yep.
And so thus ends his financial career, the incarceration, the time in prison, the IRS issues, and so on and so forth, and all that has happened. But prior to that, he was a man who grew up in Savannah, Georgia, just as poor as poor can be.
With a messed up childhood.
Okay, so was he the one? Is all of the other people that are out there doing work, like we could talk about Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar is not the only one. He's not the only one with a Black liberation pre-K or after school program or beginner school. Everybody, there are so many folks out there in their own capacity is doing what they have been governed to do. And if it's governed for you to take care of 10 children and teach them their history, teach them knowledge of self, teach them drumming, teach them dancing, teach them mathematics. For instance, this is someone you absolutely need to have on your show. I'm going to say his name and I'll give you all his information thereafter. His name is Professor Akil Parker out of Baltimore, Maryland. He is a professor at Cheney University. He has his own YouTube channel called All This Math. And he has written a book called All This Math. And he takes African history, current day history, to teach mathematics. Why? Because we, as African people, we are the creators of mathematics.
Yes, we are.
And you talk to our kids today, and they hate math, can't come over math, can't get over it. I don't know. I suck at math. Why? Because the white man turned the system around and told you that you're less valued in the system that your ancestors created.
Mm-hmm.
We are just uneducated people. And when we can sit and watch reality shows 90% of our day, or our free time and refuse to educate ourselves on the things that matter, that should matter to our knowledge now and matter to when we speak to our children and our grandchildren, because we are the voices. We are the messiahs of our lives. We are the ones that need to express to our children and grandchildren the history school cannot tell you. And I tell you that now as an educator. School does not have the capability of ingraining in an African child the things that they need to know. It is impossible.
Not these schools, no.
No, not these schools. And dare you take your dollar and put your child in an African or liberation school or a black program that they can learn these things, that you can learn these things with your child. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. Where we on-loc, and I'm sorry your other guests have not come up or come through or whatever to discuss, but it's a whole conversation that needs to take place. And so I dismissed the title. Are we our own worst enemy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They'll be here in a little bit, but again, the title is just like something that people can harp on, scratch their heads, because people feel that, especially this young generation, feel that they're doing much better than us, what they would consider old heads. Well, I would then say, oh, first of all, your presence and demeanor is very disrespectful, due to the fact that you're going to be old someday and you're going to have to deal what you're dealing with right now, with the recession going on, with prices being high, and constantly have to pay high rent in in most areas. And let's not forget the utility bills that's going skyrocketing crazy. I would have to stress to you that the people before you, who have also sacrificed a hell of a lot more than you have, deserve that same respect and generosity. So I think it would be best to at least listen to what the older generation has to say, because this is just YouTube. I mean, there are other ways to get the information out there. There are other ways to, tell our people, well, this is what you need to do in order for it to get done. But, grow whole foods in your own yard, support those who are you and not other people. But again, we have to continuously fight tooth and nail with some people. And I'm not talking about all black folks. I'm just talking about those specifically who always wants to challenge those who not being smarter than them, but know a little bit more information than they do. Just a little bit more information. And I forgot what the Bible had said about those individuals who think they know more than the ones that came before you. And when it comes to knowledge itself, you believe me, you don't know shit. You don't. As a matter of fact, pretty soon there won't be those particular jobs that are going to be available that everybody proclaims that they have, and proclaim that they're set. AI is not that far ahead. I predict that AI right now is at It's 50%. And when it's 100% functional, 10, 15, 25 years from now, and they take 40% of the jobs here in America and everywhere else, if you're not a computer programmer, if you're not a AI fixer or whatever, what are you gonna do? So my thing is, stop fighting us, and we want the young generation that's ahead of us right now to combine with us older old heads to pretty much solve this problem with the Black community, because it's just way too much right now, in my opinion.
Well, what I can say to that is, as is known, is that education begins at home. Education and way of life begins at home. If we continue to be a society in where technology and devices are raising our children, we have surrendered in the war. Because right now, you or I can take our devices and we can scroll for hours. And the AI algorithms and everything else will continue to feed what's in our email, what we spent more than 3 minutes watching, what we spoke about. It will continue to feed us until we no longer can consume the information that is given. And it's not so much a social media as in our immediate friends and family in which we originally joined and liked and follow. You got the commercials, you got the random, you got the TikTok, you got the everything all feeding into one. Sometimes I go on Facebook and I'm looking at a reel, and then I'm looking at a reel and I'm like, oh my goodness, reel, is this reel on Instagram or is this TikTok? It's taking me places I didn't even intend to go. So the information and knowledge, whether it be actual or factual, beneficial for me and my family sustainably, is there, and I can consume it in large quantities. Therefore, it's shaping my beliefs, it's shaping my perception, it's shaping my inferences of different things. And how much more? I'm an adult. I am a full-fledged adult. But how are teenagers who have the same devices, young adults who have the same devices, how are they supposed to decipher what is tangibly real or what is unrealistic for them to consume for their own longevity? They have no idea. And when you have parents that cannot speak to any portion of that, because they let their children have 10 hours of screen time every day, as opposed to the minimum of an hour, you don't communicate with your kids, you're not having a relationship. How? That is our worst enemy. The abandonment of our family is our worst enemy.
Speaking of family, I'm sure you heard about the Monique situation. Go ahead.
I have not fully heard of the Monique situation. What I have heard and what I will comment on is I did watch the full interview with her and Shannon Sharp. I respectively respect her replies with regards to her family, mother, brother, son. I believe those comments kept it in a place where there was no further offense cause or none to be gained. Anything thereafter I have not heard of or am unfamiliar with or unknowledgeable to comment on. But I can speak from this perspective as a mother with an adult son, with an adult child. There has been things that my adult son has done and experienced as an adult that I take two positions on. And I think likewise, Monique's response was similar to my response as a mother. I cannot control everything my adult child does, but I stand in position to know that I have given them the best in information and knowledge, and thus there they are. And so if I need to step away from that adult child, then that is what I'm going to do.
Do you have time for a little clip that I'm going to be playing? Yep.
Show me a clip because I have about 10 minutes. That's it.
Okay. Not a problem. Let me see. This is fair use.
In the comments below.
That nigga, TikTok of your son.
Monique said, where the comedian jokingly told the audience about some advice she received on how to handle this situation.
My grandbaby called me and told me to watch this goddamn TikTok of your son. And I watched that shit. She said, I want to tell you something. I said, ma'am. She said, that nigga. And when the elderly people tell you, that nigga, you ain't that nigga. She said, Monique, I'm 80 years old and I got a son 60 years old. You still tell me how up I was when he was 10 years old. That nigga.
The comment.
Well, what do you think? That's not even the full emphasis on what the whole story was. I mean, it's basically a back and forth between.
So let me just say this in the short. So did I hear correctly? She said, "F that in," meaning her son, and then someone had responded to her or pretty much told her, if I was in your position, I would say F that in if it was my son. Did I hear that correctly?
You heard that correctly, yes.
Okay. So off the record, on the record, any record you want to put.
On the record.
Listen. Because of our, Dr. Joy DeGruy says it, because of our post-traumatic slave disorder, we can draw a line in the sand with our children. And we might very well use those terms of lack of endearment to say, F that N. Because I wish my son well, and all of his endeavors is not as funny as F that N. Do you understand me?
I understand.
So, she said what she said. He's a grown-ass man. If he keep his stuff away from his mama, that she don't even have to know about it, then she don't have nothing to say. At best, what she said in the interview is what she said in the interview. I wish my family well. I'm separated from my son right now.
Yeah, I pray for them both.
Okay,
really
and
do.
then the reality of a black mama is that I'm the mama. If anything or anybody gonna make it right, is gonna be you apologizing to me, not me apologizing to you. Now that can be as wrong as two left shoes, but again, she's a black mama.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
I wish those two well. This has been an ongoing back and forth between these two, and I wish them nothing but I mean, just keep it off social media. I wish that were just keep it off social media. I mean, you're shooting the text messages for everybody to see. That's just something I wouldn't do. If you have to prove you're not a bad mother, or you're online, telling everybody that you're mentally ill, like her son. I mean, some things you just don't bring up on the forefront like that. So I wish those two well. And for the record, stop calling your husband daddy. I mean, that's just never mind. That's just something that
just leave that be. That's her terms of endearment.
Yeah,
You know what
I'll
she said about her husband? Let me tell you what I like what she said about her husband. The problem that people have with her having her husband as her manager in her corner is because you don't expect, you meaning all the people, you don't expect a black man to stand up for a black woman at any point in time. And when I tell you my husband has done this, that, and that, the other for me, you find it odd, you find it strange. But what's wrong with a black man standing up for a black woman? I 200% applaud what she said about her husband. And if she want to call him daddy, baby, sweetie, kissy, whatever, that is her man who stands in her corner and she stands in his, and everybody else can lick boots.
Okay. And on that note, conclusion.
In conclusion, I wish I had a man like Monique. In conclusion, if we had more men that stood in the corner of their women and held them down with absolute truth, you would see more Rastafari movement. You would see more Garvey movement. You would see more alpha males. You would see our sons respecting themselves and the community. The leadership of a black man, absolutely 200% full, is the epitome of what we need to have in order for us to move forward. Because why should women move forward being vulnerable and unprotected? What type of safety net is that?
They're not submissive enough. They're not, what's the word that they always put it? They're not feminine enough.
You're regurgitating foolishness.
I'm regurgitating?
Because you're saying it in a way of being devil advocate. Okay? They're not submissive enough. The black woman has always cried for the protection of our black male from the time they shackled us till today. And if you don't look at the enshacklement, the enslavement, and thus therefore, you are doing yourself a disservice. Because I wish when I was on a plantation and I was being pulled away by the white slave master or the overseer into the barn, into the shed, and he had his way with me. You mean to tell me there was no black man to protect me? He couldn't, because he was emasculated on that plantation. Did he wish to? Did he want to? Absolutely. So you go from that day to this day, the black man's heart is for the black woman, and the black woman's heart is for the black man. And on that note,
thank you, Lou.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Give it up for Miss Lois Lane. Give it up for. Yeah, that's some juicy stuff. That is some juicy stuff. We're gonna take a little bit of admission because I got to go pay some bills. But I promise you, we'll be right back to finish, to start, to continue this talk about how far are we. I mean, so far that was one opinion. Let's keep this up. Let's keep this going. Be back in a minute.
Okay, I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. I am not friendly, I came for the paper, little baby, don't get it confused. I see them paying to play, they be paying for pussy, my nigga, I'm paying my dues. They cannot see me unless I'm on TV in times when they happen to turn on the news. I am not worried about shit but the money, cause you cannot buy shit with all of them views. I've been on 10 like 4th grade, same nigga but I'm more paid. Lame niggas throwing more shade, but you know it don't faze me. I'm blowing out gas to the whole whip hazy, with a new chick cause my old bitch crazy. Just a young player that the west side made me, but how could you blame me and how could you tame me? You can't pop in that pussy, you claim you a saint. Do what they can and they hate what they ain't, but I am the greatest, that ain't for debate. Raising the stakes and I'm eating them too. Hitters on deck, what you need them to do. Fuck all that talking, I leave it to you, cause I gotta go, got a meeting at 2. Tell me why all of the shit that you saying don't never match up with that shit that you do. We mobbing and thugging, you bitching and bugging, there's nothing that we got in common. I've been out grinding and hustling, investing this paper, got tired of eating that ramen. All of my music be heat, I ain't missing a beat, I've been blessed with impeccable timing. Watch all them people who friendly, it turn into envy whenever they see that you shining. Okay, I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Back out fresh on the scene.
Told you I'll be back. Well, let's keep this thing going. My next clip talks about, let's see, what are some of the things, 5 things to fix our community. 5 whole things
Black people can do today to affect change in our community. Number 1, stop supporting rap music. Rap music profits from our destruction. They do nothing but promote negative stereotypes about Black people. Number 2, stop voting for Democrats.
My favorite.
Democrats have been using Black people for the last 60 years. They do nothing but use us for our votes. Number 3, if you know a man that's not taking care of his children, call him and let him know that he's a disgusting piece of trash.
Preach.
And he's the reason why, the main reason why, the Black community is in the situation that it's in right now. Number 4, stop supporting race hustlers like Black Lives Matter. They do nothing but profit from our division. And number 5, my favorite, stop looking at white people to fix our problems.
Ooh.
Look at Black folks to fix the problem, because we're the ones in it.
Listen to this.
Damn. Well, I like that last one. I like the very last one. Stop letting white folks solve your problems. And that includes the government. Yeah, that's what I said. But we were working government at the time. You're on food stamps and everything. Mm-mm. Get your lazy asses. This is what Mrs. Glenn's been harping back on her. And I say this all the time. I got pork rinds stuck in my teeth. We are lazy. Most of us anyway, we are lazy. And it starts with home, and it also starts with our women. And it ends with our women. What do I hear all day long? Women are not submissive enough. Why would a woman be submissive to a lazy nigga? Why? I mean, what? You have the power, you have the education, the wherewithal to make your own money, to make things happen, to do all types of things for yourself. But it seems like in today's time, it just seems like in today's time we just think about ourselves mostly. I mean, it's a startup kit, but once you get yourself intact, once you get yourself in tune with yourself, don't forget about your brother. Don't forget about your sister. You know how all those people from overseas come in and they end up in one house, one roof? And nobody is satisfied until each and every single person who is in that house gets their own business, has their own establishment. But it's from the government. They get help from the government. Yeah, they get grants. They get grants, we get loans. Get it? But we can take that very same thing. We can take that very same thing, make our own business. Of course, we're going to have to pay the money back, but hey, at least we have something that our children one day can have. And then our children's children's children can have. It's called generational wealth. Something that Dr. Claude Anderson has preached for many years. But it seems like to me, we have our own agenda. And by the way, I don't want to hear another freaking thing when it comes somebody saying that we have millionaires. We have more million. We have how many million? Let me look. How many millionaires do we have? How many black millionaires? How many black millionaires in the U.S.? Nope, that's not. Nope. Let's go down here. The millionaire status. Let me see. We have over millionaire status has risen over 5.2 million people. 5.2 million people. Now, what is that of white people? What is that of black people? And the vast majority of 62.5 million global millionaires in, let's just say 2021, has wealth between 1 million and 5 million, which reinforces the rapid rise of millionaire numbers seen in the United States since 2016. Culture Bank notes that for the African American millionaires, for the number is growing, but still lower than other demographics. Especially black people represent 8% total millionaires in the U.S. 76% white, 8% Asian, and Hispanic community captures 7% of the total millionaire population across the country. 8%. And I'm not good at math, but what is really 8% versus 76%? What is that? What is that? That is some interesting stuff. Now, go to the next clip. Are we really making progress? Or are we our worst enemy? And one brother has his own opinion. Check it out.
If we knew who we were, we would make better decisions. I grew up in a pro-Black family. My father was taught Malcolm X. My mother had us celebrating Kwanzaa. So as a young child, I knew at an early age the importance of having an appreciation for your culture. As I was growing up in LA, that defined me because during that era, like I said, you had the Rodney King riots. It was NWA culture. We went hard against the police. And I've experienced racism personally growing up in LA. Some of y'all might have seen the movie Crash that had Ludacris. Los Angeles is a very segregated area. So this whole time that I'm growing up as a child up until my teens, I'm going through life with a mindset that racism is my biggest barrier to overcome.
As of most people, when we first start off, we start off of people telling us that we can't do anything, that we can't be, the next generational kid of carpenters or plumbers or engineers, that we can't be the president of the United States of America, that we're just good with washing dishes and all this other type of stuff. And lo and behold, years later, some of us are carpenters, some of us are HVAC specialists, some of us are engineers and plumbers and so on and so forth. But not every Black man wants those particular jobs. They just want to be in that 6-7 figure range. And in order for you to get to that, you're going to have to be in a profession that requires you to do more than what is asked in order for you to get more money. But people love to skip. People love to skip jobs, beyond jobs, just to get that big pay. And do you want to know why? In my opinion, in my humble opinion, do you want to know why that is? Because nowadays, most of these white folks, believe me, I know, they hire the people who they know that can get the job done better, faster, and stronger. They necessarily don't need a quote unquote pre-apprentice on the job to F up everything. But if I say give a person the chance, then I don't know, it might mess up their work, and there might mess up the places that they have a deadline, wherever it is, if it's a school, if it's a specific project they have to go by that particular deadline. So what happens is, if you do not know a particular person that can get you in the door and connections with the person who was in charge of that particular project, then you're basically soliciting yourself. And you have to have a very, very hard sell. You have to have a very, very hard sell, and you better do what is required without any type of mistakes.
I'm going through life with the filter that says racism and what has been done to us as a people is the number one greatest enemy to our success. But then I started trying to shift the culture as an adult. I started trying to do things that was for the betterment of our community. I myself was trying to elevate as a Black man. And the more that I tried to do things for the benefit of the culture, the more resistance I got from my own people. I love my people. If I didn't, I would have never created a business called Black Men's Career. And everything that I'm telling you right now, I'm just keeping it a buck, and I'm trying to be as authentic as I can be. I'm saying what I need to say without a filter. You know, I love my people, but this has to be said. I have to be honest about the challenges that we face. For me personally, once I became an adult, after growing up living a life that racism was my biggest impediment as a young Black man, I started trying to do things to overcome racism as a Black man, and the most resistance came from my own people.
Let me tell you something. First and foremost, there is still racism in America, whether you want to believe it or not. And I know it's not saying this. There may not be as much racism, but there's still prejudice. There's still prejudice amongst those who still fear us and hate us. But because of channeled slavery, because of the Willie Lynch ship that is still hovering over our heads, not over mine because I already know the deal, hovering on most of us, until we can see the forest from the trees, we will be forever enslaved in the mind. May not be in a body, but in our mind, our mindset, where we think, how we act, the way we talk, the way we walk it, the way how we treat each other, the way how we treat our women, the way how we treat our children, we will always be in that number. You hate me because I'm doing better than you. What do I do as a person who is doing better than me? Fight to get what I want. But instead, some of us, maybe most of us, attack the very person who looks like us. We're lazy. Most of us are lazy. And I would have to say, Black man and woman, we have some improvement that we need to do. Quick, fast, and in a freaking hurry. I shouldn't make it. Ooh. Let me get that back. But at any rate, as I let that go for obvious reasons, let me get that back. But hey, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do in a short time to do it. Let me continue with this.
Mark chapter 6 and verse 4. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and in his own house. So when we examine the spiritual side behind, our day to day, the Lord warned us already that we're going to get opposition from our own people. Sometimes that might be your spouse. Sometimes that might be your kids. Sometimes it might be your family members and friends. But we as a community have gotten in our own way to the extent that there's a growing culture of Black people in America who believe that we are our own worst enemy. I do believe that there is a system in place, and I believe that system breeds racism. I do believe that there is systematic racism in America. But in my experience, we have been our own worst enemy in the modern day. Let me give you a couple examples. My biggest haters are my own people. The people that hate my channel the most and have gone out of their way to try to sabotage it were not people from other communities. Those who have made my personal life the hardest are my own people. I've heard brothers talk about how our biggest deterrent is the knowledge of self, and that's high on the list. It's critical. But there are some of us that have the knowledge of self, and we still hold each other back with the knowledge that we have. Even among those who seek to have knowledge of self, we fight with each other so hard. And whenever we try to come together to identify solutions and execute, we get so caught up in so many different things surrounding the knowledge that we have, we can't even get to the solution. The question remains, what is the greatest enemy to Black success? I've told you in my personal experience, we have become our own worst enemy in the modern day. Now, why do I keep stressing the modern day?
Anyone disagree? It may seem as if, it's a black on black crime again. Well, after years and years and years and years and years and years of research, after years and years and years, after hearing and witnessing my people, how they behave, how they reconstruct themselves, put themselves in a pretty little light in terms of how they value themselves. Oh, women value themselves real well. Look on Facebook, look on Twitter, look on IG, look on TikTok. That's all you ever see is that particular side. Ass shaking and everything. But you just need that much attention. Look on the brother side. Well, having, disagreements with one another, beating each other to death, shooting each other. We can only look towards those particular people that actually got it, who become secretaries and House representatives, and, you know, senators and legislators who have volunteered themselves to put in work throughout their summer, throughout the summertime, and do summer work, who are a part of the Big Brother Little Brother programs, what I used to be in. We particularly love to divide and conquer ourselves at the right moments, at the right time, at the wrong time, but at the right moments. I mean, look at this situation with the district attorney. I mean, she has the right to defend herself, but does she have the right to act a fool in court? No. But is he inappropriately behaving like a gentleman? No. No. And my biggest pet peeve throughout this whole YouTube course is, when are we ever going to get fed up talking of circles? I call this the wilderness talk, the Exodus talk, about women being submissive to their men. That they're not feminine enough. They're not feminine enough. They're always masculine. They have no standards. What standards? Why would a female want to follow your lead? Since we talk about leadership, do you have a problem with a woman leading you? I was like, not exactly. Not exactly. Because who's in the free world? Who's leading the free world as we speak? Joe Biden. But if something happens to Joe Biden, who's there to take over, to becoming the leader of the free world? Kamala Harris. And if let's just say Kamala Harris leads the free world, the United States. I mean, she's in it, and she's in it to win it. So why can't we just get used to the simple fact that there's a woman in office? I don't get what that is. I don't get what that is at all. Why are we shocked? Why are we all flabbergasted? Oh, it's over for the black man. We'll move to Africa. Move. Because as far as I'm concerned, when she takes over, and there's some indications that she might take over, then hey, if you say that the black man is screwed, I'll tell you what, you either get along board, or you can get off the U.S. train and find some people, or do what the passport bros do. Yeah, that's it. Do what the passport bros do. you'll be in a more worse situation than you are now. Going to a third world country that you know nothing about. And for what? Third world countries, say like in Dubai and other places, Iraq and all these other places, and even in Africa, you get down or you lay down. Straight up. This ain't free America. We ain't even Kansas no more. That's what they say. We're not in Kansas anymore. Well, you better straighten up. Seriously, straighten up and fly right.
Because at once upon a time, there were other communities that predominantly got in our way. I'm talking about the creation of welfare. I'm talking about systems being established so that we would be programmed on all things: philosophy, religion, education, economics. Yes, there has been a system designed to our detriment. You see that all the time whenever you see brothers assassinated, killed in cold blood through police brutality. It's clear as day on camera. That same cop will go before a judge and will get no justice, no peace. The verdict will be not guilty. We understand that the system is not built for us. But what I'm talking about is right now, in 2021, the system is in place. And we know that there's work being done by the powers that be to maintain the system. But what is the greatest enemy to Black success? In my personal experience in the modern day, we get in our own way the most because we don't even try to overcome the system without tearing each other down first. Prime example, look at what happened in the video I just showed you. This is a group of Black people coming together, having a desire to create change, and the brother cannot get one sentence out of his mouth without us having to explore our differences in a way that's so divisive that we cannot even work well with each other.
That sounds quite familiar. It sounds quite familiar, doesn't it? Whenever brothers and sisters come together on a live stream, what do you usually hear after the first 10 minutes? After the first 10 minutes of the cameras rolling and, you know, obviously you're reading your super chats, what particularly happens? So a little disagreement turns into bickering back and forth, a shouting match, an argument. You bitch, you're a bitch, you a hoe, you 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 a cum slut, you're a slut, you this, you that, da 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 da. And some words are so used, I don't even know what's real or what's fake anymore. I don't know. That's why I usually look at the panels first before I even decide to even enter. And even when it doesn't even have to come to panels, it could just become I can just reduce myself to the chat. And even the chat's bad. The chat is undefeated. I'm looking for a straight up, honest, not so goddamn divisive, we can agree to disagree conversation. That's what I'm looking for. Normally, depending on who you have on your channel / channels, not everybody needs to be up on your platforms. Not everybody. But if you can control the conversation, if you can control the platform, then it's all good. But if not, you're going to get what? What is called chaos.
Do y'all know what's so crazy? A lot of y'all will go to work and you'll put on the right smile in front of your boss. You'll act how you're supposed to act in front of your coworkers who come from different communities. But then when you get in front of your own people, some of y'all, you give them your backside to kiss. Like, why is it? I'm saying even with the differences, because all these other cultures, where you shop at, where you work at, the restaurants that you go to, they all got differences too. But why is it that when we frequent other people's businesses, we know how to put on a polite character, but then when we get amongst our own, we are so quick to go against each other, all in the name of differences? But differences are among us 24/7. It's just that when we get around other people, we know how to put differences aside. But then when we get amongst our own, we will use those exact same differences to tear each other down. What is the greatest enemy to Black success? Is there an enemy at all? There may be some of you that are tuning in that feel like there's nothing that's holding us back. Some of you may feel like what's holding us back is a system. Some of you may feel like what's holding us back is a person. I need y'all commenting so that way I can know your point of view on how you feel. Okay, D. Nixon said, I love my people, but you can't save all of them. Some people don't want to work and better the community. I had less resistance from other communities.
Once again, this is a perfect comment that this person made. And let's take little small bits. I love my people, but I can't save them all. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people that you don't have to take there. You don't have to take everybody with you. So that statement is correct. Part of that statement is correct. It's best that you have 4 people in the room with you. You don't have to have 100 people on in the room, because that's too much confusion. What are we here? What are you here for? 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 That's just too much confusion. That's too much stuff to that's just too many people to put in one room. But many people know how to manage that particular room. Some reduce their, you know how you say when you start off as a content creator, you're allowed to have 6 people in the room up there on the platform. Now you can upgrade it to 10, right? I'd rather dumb it down to 6, because at least at that particular time, I know who's in front of me, and I can control the 5 that are up there with me. When it becomes more than 5, boy, trust and believe, I've had it before. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying if you can personally control your channel, and believe me, there's going to be controversy. What can we agree and what can we disagree on? What's the solution? What type of, I want a solution to a problem. And the brother is right when he says, I love my people, but I cannot save them all. Of course you can. You can save them from a distance. So far a distance, in fact, that you can only give them some advice and you can just move on from it. And then the rest is some people don't want to work and better their communities. I had less resistance from other communities. Now, I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, I can give a damn less about other communities. I'm not going to them. There's nothing necessarily they can do for me. They may give me a job, but can they raise my pay? We can talk amongst one another. Of course, you can have, associates and stuff like that. You can have friends. You can hell, you can marry them among other communities. But do they know your pain? Do they know your passion? Can you teach a white person your passion? Can you tell a white person some of the things that, well, let me reiterate. Do they know your spirit? Do they know your pain? Do they know what you've been through as a community, as a people, whether it be this year's or harping back many of a century? Can they, let's just say you marry one of them and have a child. What is it a white person can tell your child that you yourself can't? They don't know they do not know your pain. They don't know your experiences. They always talk about the Jewish community been through this and been through that, and Irish people been through this and been through that. Ain't nothing much worse than what African people have been through. Nothing much worse. Second follow behind it is the Jewish community. But it is starting to look, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, it's starting to look like it's going that way. I would never do it, and I would encourage my people not to do it as well. But we're all grown ass men and women, and they do whatever they want to do. So,
D. Nixon, you speaking facts. And I know some people won't like that, but this is the reason why we got to get out here and have the conversation. When we talk about the issues that we face, there are different issues that are amongst us. It's not just one. We do have problems when it comes to knowledge of self. I've also heard brothers and sisters say, we have problems when it comes to financial illiteracy. But even with financial literacy, how would we wage war against each other using money as a weapon with the mindset that we have towards our own kind? There's some people amongst our community that believe, hey, the biggest problem that we have is knowledge of self. If we knew who we were, we would make better decisions. I agree with that to a large extent. You also have another group of people within our community who believe that we are economically disadvantaged, and because of the fact that we don't know how to govern ourselves economically, if all we had was the right understanding of how to get to the bag, this would help us get light years ahead. Now, we need to do much better financially. Absolutely, yes. I talked about that in yesterday's show. The black dollar only circulates within the black community for 6 hours. This is a key area that.
Oof. That sounds a little bit like Dr. Claude Anderson talk, don't it?
We need to fix. But keep in mind what I'm saying. If we have such a divisive enemy type nature towards one another, if every last one of us got $1 million tomorrow, what will we do with it?
I can tell you what we can do with it, or what we're going to do with it. Waste it. there's probably 1% of us who would know what to do with that money, but will there be support amongst all of us? Some of us, most of us. If we were to open up our own restaurants, open up our own supermarkets, open up our own hospitals, open up our own facilities for Black children, open up our own schools, basically, will we get that? Will that man who opens up anything of use to Black people or Black community, will we support it? No. Few, far, and in between will. And you're mad, but this is the truth. It's the it's the hard, honest truth.
How would we use that money to create division against each other more than what we already have? I think that we have witnessed how when you put people who have money in positions of power, evils can happen. So even with the understanding of financial literacy, we really have to overcome the sense of self-hatred and the sense of adversary that we have towards one another. We got to get out.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. We have to get rid of that Willie Lynch chip. We have to get rid of that Jim Crow mindset. We have to get rid of that Dred Scott mindset. Now, I would prefer it if we would come up with a plan to get, to find out how to reverse Dred Scott. But I don't have that many people with me. And believe me, I can't do this by myself. You have to have people who are in lockstep with you to do some very interesting things. Some things that'll make other people scratch their heads and say, what are we doing here? And it's like, that's not how you do it. But why don't we give it a try? What do we as a people systematically do for ourselves that other ethnicities do for themselves? Well, I could tell you one thing. Other ethnicities don't argue amongst themselves as much as we do. And that's the honest to God truth. That's what I see. That's all I see is play. It's like for example, I only had one guest come in and Mrs. Flynn represented. I had some other guests that didn't show up, but it's all good. I'm not complaining. It's like I feel much safer. I feel in tune to get better and better and better and better at what I do. One day you're going to find me out there and I'm going to be on your TV set as a representative of this and that and this and the third, helping our legislators, helping our governors, helping the mayor come up with some ideas that it's like, how do we better our way of life? How we better our community? And if you want police brutality to stop, you need to either vote to have your situation come to a head. Not right. Well, rioting is good, but what comes after that? You have to learn how to put in the work, just like relationships. Relationships take work. It's not all flowers and candies out this bitch. It's not. It's not what you think it is. It's what Lisa would say. Petitions work. Those are over. Well, yes, petitions do work. Petitions do work when it comes to getting what you want. Now, there has to be, when it comes to petitions, everybody has to be involved. Everyone. If a person you know feels the same way as you do, they'll sign it. They'll sign that petition. But where was I at? Oh yeah. Relationship politics is just like relationships. You have to put in the work. As it pertains to putting in the work, you have to put in that timing. You just don't put in your vote and expect people to do something for you. You can't just pick that woman and expect for her to do what you as a man want to do, or as a woman you want him to do. You have to build rapport. You have to build some type of relationship first. It is what it is. You have to put in that work. You have to put in that timing. We got 24 hours in a day. What can we systematically do for ourselves to better our relationships, to better our lives, to better our communities, to better this, da. This is always going to come up. And why don't we ever bother answering those particular questions without blaming the Black woman? Or putting our men in positions to fail. Or, excuse me, let me say that right. Helping men and putting them in positions to fail. This is not a one gender type thing, blame thing. This is the question that I ask. Are we our worst enemy? Going to the next. And let's see. Ooh, this is a white man. I haven't quite heard this one yet. But you know what? I got to harpen back real quick, because I really got to harpen back to this, because it breaks my heart. It really does break my heart to see this. I gotta go back. I gotta go back.
Making headlines for all the wrong reasons. As we all know, Monique has been involved in a now decade-long feud with some of Black Hollywood's top elite, including Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. During her conversation with Shannon Sharpe, she would once again air out her grievances with the two moguls. Now, neither Perry or Winfrey have spoken on the podcast interview, but there have been others who've used their own platforms in order to respond to the Queen of Comedy, including Monique's eldest son, Shalon Jackson, who has been estranged from his mother from some time now. Folks online that were once in favor of Monique when it came to her fight to overcome a blackballing in Hollywood are now second-guessing themselves after seeing a public fight with one of her children. Shortly after the Club Shay Shay interview dropped, Jackson would release a TikTok explaining his non-existent relationship with his mother, and he claims the Oscar-winning actress initially wasn't interested in being a mother. However, that all changed when she married her now husband, Sidney Hicks.
But if I had to guess, though, Her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy. The neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. Still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son.
After Jackson's video picked up steam, Monique and Sydney would respond via Instagram, stating that they've shown up for Shalon throughout the years and would even go as far as sharing text messages between the two to prove that.
This part is what I talked about earlier. It's like, why would you throw your business out there in the public like that? You honestly think people would care if you're in a turmoil with your son? When it comes to family, when it comes to our families, do you think other people really give a damn what we go through? We need, honestly, we need therapy. We do. We need therapy. But I'm gonna keep going.
Unfortunately for Monique, posting the personal messages online didn't gain her any sympathy from fans. And things didn't just stop there. During a recent performance in New Jersey, Monique would take the time to address the controversy with her son on the stand-up stage. A video captured by The Art of Dialogue would share a portion of Monique's set, where the comedian jokingly told the audience about some advice she received on how to handle this situation.
My grandbaby called me and told me to watch this goddamn TikTok of your son. And I watched that shit. She said, I want to tell you something. I said, ma'am. She said, that nigga. And when the elderly people tell you, that nigga, you ain't that nigga. She said, Monique, I'm 80 years old and I got a son 60 years old. You still tell me how up I was when he was 10 years old. That nigga.
The comments under the video presented by The Art of Dialogue's Twitter seem to be on the same page, with many wishing that Monique didn't have to disparage her son and stoop this low for an attempt at getting laughs. One user online would write, she wants Tyler Perry and Oprah to make amends to her, but can't do it for her own kid. Another user would reference Monique's back and forth with comedian D.L. Hughley by writing, D.L. Hughley said Precious was an autobiography, and that is coming to life right in front of us. The Shade Room would report the same story, and the comments appear to be in even more unison, taking the side of Monique's son, Shalon. One top comment read, don't call us your babies. We don't like how you treat your actual babies. Although there were several members in the audience that can be heard in the video.
Yeah, that was sad in itself too. For when I heard a couple of females yell out insanities of, yeah, fuck them kids. I'm like, really? We really gonna go there? Oh. People put their private issues on the platform. Oh, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing compared to what I saw yesterday. And I have to say, we have a lot of work to do. A lot of, and some would say this. I mean, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because you put the spirit out there to not make it work. You don't need that type of spirit on you. But I gotta find that thing. I have to find it. Cause it weighs heavy. It weighs real heavy on my heart. It really does. It really, really does. I was the type of, to be perfectly honest, I almost gave up. I almost gave it up. I almost said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to let shit play out and just worry about my own family. I was that close. Oh no, Lisa. Oh no, this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what I saw. Hey, Emma.
What's up?
Oh yeah.
What's up?
You and Mrs. Lewis, y'all. I wanna thank y'all for showing love, showing up. Ah, but
I thought. Hold on. Oh, never mind.
you thought what?
I thought you had removed me from the.
Why do you keep saying that?
I'm just following your directions to come up when everybody else has already spoken.
Well, but not but one person that already spoke. She been gone. So I guess everybody else had plans. Oh, you know what I was supposed to do? I am not computer savvy at all. I am not computer, but I want to show you something. I want to show you something. That's remained deep in my heart. I want to show Lisa too.
The answer, it wasn't me.
That's some cold stuff right there. That's some cold stuff. I want you to take a look at this clip right now.
Okay, y'all, for real, I'm finna get the crying. They took my kids. Girl, yes, them kids was bad as fuck anyway. Fuck them kids. Veronica, for real. Fuck them kids, girl. Fuck them kids. I keep letting my shit go out. What's up, cuz? They came and got them kids. What's up, cuz? Delilah. What's up, Key? Cuz? Dog. Francois. I don't even know if I be saying that right. But I'm fucking crying too, because they came and got them motherfuckers. It's the happiest day. About ass and pussy, one type of lie. They came and got them motherfuckers. They came and got them. Do you hear me? You hear me, Willie? Motherfuckers believe anything. But they came and got them, though. They came and got them. Happiest day of my life.
Damn, bro, I'm in the house. I'm in the right house.
I'm talking about, I should have took a picture of them motherfuckers when they was leaving out the door. I should have recorded. I should have recorded. Yes, Marie, they really think so. So, actually, no, listen, though. Boy, hey, how shit all summer. Fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. What is y'all mad for? Y'all mad because I didn't want my kids. Like, them motherfuckers came up out of me. I got a right to want them or get rid of them. And I got rid of them motherfuckers. The fuck? Y'all right. I knew what I was doing the whole time. I motherfucking went live and embarrassed myself on purpose so y'all can call them people so they can come get these ugly ass motherfucking kids. And guess what? It worked. It didn't even take them a whole 3 weeks to come get them motherfuckers. They came and got them. They gone. And I'm happy. Nigga. I'm drinking. I'm smoking. And them kids gone. Fuck them kids. For real. Fuck them. Let's make some more. No, you gonna be a single motherfucking daddy. You gonna be a single motherfucking daddy. You gonna be a single motherfucking daddy. I'm not having no more hashtag fuck them kids. I need everybody to hashtag fuck them kids. Hashtag fuck the. I'm not playing, baby. Andrea, I'm not playing. Girl, how do I get them to come get mine? Girl. My nigga, inbox me. Inbox me. I'll tell you how to get rid of them motherfuckers quick, fast. I will tell you how to get rid of them motherfuckers quick, fast, because they came and got mine.
The only thing that because I could see a little bit of the kids on the side, and when we were just talking about black children and just children in general, the only thing that stopped me from crying was the reason that we have to be strong for the kids and stuff. But then again, she could be acting and she could be out there fishing too. Fishing because it's a lot of people, because on other apps and stuff, they don't even allow kids on there. She could be fishing. You don't know if she working for the man, the police, or whatever. And then other girls typing in there, how can they come and get mine? And what do I need to do? And that's the same way they catch other people online too. So it could be one of the two, because you can't believe everything you see online.
Believe it.
And what I'm telling you is they got people posing online, and you don't never know who that girl's working for or what's going on. But
listen. Don't nobody come online and do all that for a whole 30 minutes. Ain't no way in hell. You can't even disguise that. You can't. You can't get a real mother who takes care of her business to do some ignorant shit like that. And I tell that person to burn in hell for all eternity. Like, if you honestly think that you're gonna come, no, hell no, you can. I refuse to believe that. No, and nothing against you, but nothing against you, because I'm not getting mad at you. I'm getting mad at the simple fact that anybody, FBI, I don't see FBI doing. Well, you know what? Let me stop lying. I do see FBI doing that, but for what purpose? An agenda? We all know the agenda. The agenda has never left our minds, those who are smart enough to know, those who are smart enough to remember the situation with.
Because you never heard. But see, the thing is that when you have kids and stuff, like you say, you need to be completely stable. I know that's hard to do, because some people end up getting pregnant. They think that they don't see what all is into raising kids or children. And when they have them, you can get like these different. You ever heard of postpartum? But through your journey of raising kids, because I've raised mine, they're grown. But
like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Please share and subscribe. Share and subscribe. Because this shit blew my mind. But go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, this shit blew my mind the first time I heard that. It literally, like, you're joking, right? And I'm just waiting for them to say, no, we're just joking. That's some fucked up shit. I mean, I can't do nothing to her. Maybe you could. Maybe you could slap some sense into a person like that. I can't do nothing to her. I end up committing homicide and suicide at the same time. Because you know what? If the kids grow up to hear their mother talk like that, then what is going to stop them from who is who?
We unlock your eyes, because that seems very abrupt. I'm sure more of that goes on online, but I'm just now thinking, like, with all this child trafficking and a bunch of stuff, and girls on there talking about how do they come get mine and all that stuff. Like, you have to watch this stuff. Like, we can't let this stuff get us because unless we're gonna address I think she was talking about who is the girl.
I don't know who the hell that was. I don't know.
Hi, Lisa.
I have no. The brother that was on there who played the video, this was from 3 years ago, but in still this, he was harping on the same thing that the brother was harping on earlier. All we are worst enemy, and he reverted it back to the old biblical texts and all this other stuff. And I forgot to display this. When it comes to Monique, I forgot to put this on the screen. It says, "Lo, our children." This is Psalms chapter 127, verse 3 and 5. "Lo, children are a inheritance of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hands of the mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quivers full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemy in the gate."
And that's what I was about to tell you. I've never seen someone so. Well, I have seen women like that because I've talked to a lot of different women. So, and like I said, I raised two of my own. So I'm aware of different emotions and different things that come with that. But I've never seen that girl was extremely angry. And she needs to talk to somebody.
Angry about what? Them kids didn't have nothing to do. Those kids have nothing to do with.
Some people, they don't, like I said.
Why does the kid have to be punished?
It happens like that sometimes, probably out of all the women that have given birth or going to give birth. But all we can do is try to make women aware of, try to have the talk with them. Like if they end up getting pregnant, try to tell them what's coming, because like my aunts did, but I still messed up. But it's like she probably got to the point. I'm just not speculating. She's getting to the point where she had to be extremely angry, even though it looked like she was having fun. But to say something like that, and some people think that just because a woman can give birth, they might think that women automatically, naturally love their children and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I've seen and you've seen messy stuff online too. Because we could ask a few questions about that situation. I mean, you have two parents.
Yep.
So, and that's why I say you got to be careful. If you can do the best you can, give it. That's who I thought she said came and got them foster parents. I mean, not foster parents, but the the state or something. But
yeah, for them to turn up and be adopted by two gay men.
Yeah, but what I'm saying as a Black woman, you can't, when you're trying to raise children and stuff like that, and I think somebody was there with her, people smoking and stuff. Nothing wrong with smoking, but you can't be around agitators, because that was demonic in a bad way. And I know people say, well, why you say that, Alma? Well, because those precious angels, and then we don't know everything you see online is not real. It could be a setup, agent provocateurs. You don't know what these people are trying to make Black people look like. And y'all don't know about these computers like that. And how, I think the sister was saying earlier, and somebody was talking about it last night, how these things are, she talked about it earlier. These algorithms got y'all. I thought it had me though. But I'm glad you stopped and, acknowledge it so we know what to be aware of. Because after, like she said, okay, just because she gave birth, yeah, you gave birth, but you'll be gone. Why not show them the way? Because you'll be gone we'll be gone by the time these kids get a certain age. So we can teach and show them the way, But that's a big subject within itself, but seeing as how she had already given birth. But who did she say came and got the kids? I mean, she said they came and got them. I'm like, who? The father, the grandmother, who?
It's probably what you call
protective services.
Protective services, some shit like that. I don't know. But the moral to the story with that is, this is sick, and this is the reason why I put this on the title. And I don't know if you were here. Yeah, you were here earlier when Mrs. Lewis was basically dropping jewels.
And you know what, Lisa? That's the hard questions that is a very touching question. Why did she keep having kids is what I like to know. But what do you do when they're already here? I'm not going to comment on those children, because like I said, some sites don't allow children, but those precious angels, and black, their children, and of course us that are parents, but we have to be aware of these people. Either way, she was dead wrong, because you don't go shuck and jive like that on Beyonce's internet. You don't do that.
Internet.
That's what they call it.
What is Beyonce's internet?
The internet. Lisa, will you please tell him what Beyonce's internet is? Because
No. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. You got my
She never does that. She never needs to do that. Now that we're here setting the rules, she never needs to do that at all. And say that because it's making, our people, and making people look a certain way. And it's, the whole setup was, it was given defeated mind.
Thank you for the support. African mind. Thank you for the support, Ty. Thank you for the support.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell another friend, tell another friend. Tell all my Jamaican friends to stop by, come and support We-On-Loc Nation, and you just the people who are supposed to be, they missed the jewel being dropped. I tell you, when it came to Dr. Umar, and she's an advocate for Umar. There's the one I told you about, and the projects that Umar puts kids through, giving them books to read, taking them out to places where they have the African diaspora.
Look, this needs to be, like I said, I'll say it since Dr. Umar is not here. This needs to be general lifestyles. I'm not trying to tell people how to live, but if we want to keep on, saying what Dr. Umar is doing, but there are ways that you could just do basic stuff and just to protect you and your family. But that what she did, I don't think anybody would want that for any child. Okay. And one thing's for sure, when you have to be a mother, I don't know where the father was, which is not important, but just to give a little bit. But with you raising children and you trying to do a whole bunch of stuff at once, women can actually flip like that. Because you have women that do stuff to their you know, it's different things that happen. We On-Loc, just to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Have women that they get afraid, you know, and stuff. So it's and it's a lot of women. The majority of Black women is sure taking good care of their kids, but like you said, are we our own worst enemy? But thinking about the state of, you know, a lot of Black families or economic status, different things, you know. And I mean, I've talked to women, they're not, when it comes to having kids, they're not all that much into it. They might have had different things go on. Like I said, it's a journey. So we have to try to prepare as much as we can, talk to young women and try to prepare them and let them know why it's a good idea to possibly wait until you're more mature to have children. You know, with seeing that, like I said, and then with me, me having my journey, I would say possibly if we could talk to these young women, because we don't want it. We don't want to give an impression like that. And she was a beautiful woman.
That was such a piss. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. You know why I can't say that? Because you look ugly from the moment you said what you said. And I'm sorry, the Christian in me usually says that child needs to repent. But at this juncture, in this stage, and in this era, and in the times that we live in, no, that's unacceptable.
There's different cases where I've seen mothers or parents in different situations seen, you know, do stuff like that. Maybe not to that extent what she was saying, but if she can take care of, you see how she kept flipping that wig around. I'm like, you know how much work it take to take care of a wig, but yet she got. That's why I say it probably.
I don't give a damn about no goddamn lace front wig or whatever. The only thing I care about is those children.
Like
those children need better.
Like
the children need better.
Her glory, and I was like, sis, all that work it take care of that. Okay.
Emma, look. I don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah, what you think with a good old lace front?
Look good. I don't give a damn about no head looking good. What that mean?
We gotta stay on them. We On-Loc. Because problems within homes. You hear me, Lisa?
That's an excuse.
Hair, this wig, all these wigs and tossing them around and stuff, it's causing problems in households. Because every time,
why do you think Dr. Umar always said? Hold on. Why do you think Dr. Umar always said he is not going to allow wigs, certain perms, lace fronts in his campus? And some dumbass will tell you, "Oh, no, you can't do that because somebody can sue you." Or I don't care. That's his establishment. That's his baby. That's his building. Chinese people I don't give a fuck about no goddamn Chinese people.
Now every time we see these things, here come the mumble. I'm glad the ancestors stopped.
I mean,
here come the BS, because this stuff is getting in our households and causing problems. And then Lisa said the same thing.
Why the fuck would you ask something like that dumb?
Oh man. Why? Arguing over dumb stuff. That's how a few arguments got started. but it's just, it means that much to us. And and I know it seems harsh because believe me, if I could get a nice one, I would probably order
Here's my question. This is a fair question.
right.
Why the children? Why do they have to suffer all because their father wanted nothing to do with them, or maybe their mother wanted nothing to do with them, or maybe something happened to her marriage, or maybe her boyfriend, her second? Because guess what? In the background, guess who was in the background?
I'm telling you why.
No.
It matters.
Wait. Who was in the background? Who was in the background?
I don't know.
Her baby fathers. She said it. She admitted it. Her baby fathers were in the back playing video games.
Anybody though, we're not gonna go on here and act like we're naive to these internet streets. Now we have to. They're teaching us this every day in the conscious communities, and what you got to do with that, you got to eat the fish and spit the bones out. But no, you do, because they be these.
That's catfish.
You don't know what they're back there doing. You don't know if that was her, because I didn't see. All I saw was her. I didn't see nothing about no kids. I didn't see no yeah, and Lisa, yeah, demonic in a bad way. What we call bad, like F out of here. And we don't want to be this way. Well, I know I don't, and that's why, like I said, over time, you have to. I just get to it because, we try to beat around the bush. She's like, how many years does that take? But we have to educate ourselves on everything we can possible. And parenting also, because I read a few books, believe it or not.
And also, before I forget, don't forget to tell a friend to come and to become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation tribal. Because I am the tribal chief of my platform. And things are going to be looking way different from here on in. But we got to get on out of here. I might be doing a part 2. Possibly this coming Sunday. Everybody, come on by. Because there's still questions that are unanswered that we need to answer. So sorry, we need to answer the question, because what I see from other community, they're lockstep with each other. I'm trying to figure out why. Why are we so sour?
That's what I was going to say.
Why are we so lukewarm? You know how it says in the Bible, it says in somewhere Revelations, if you are lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth, because you're not hot nor cold, you are lukewarm. And I just spewed you out of my mouth. I'm about to spew these niggas out of my existence, my whole existence, and I'm going to end up going with my new family. And no, they ain't white. You're going to stay? What do you mean?
I think
on
she
YouTube?
might be going to stay online.
No. I gotta go.
No, I mean that's like
on YouTube.
Remember, yeah. I think she means, are you gonna stay on YouTube?
I don't know, because the people who are winning right now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. The people who are winning right now are the most ignorant, the most ignorant, diabolical sons of bitches you can ever see. And they are winning because of what? Ignorance.
But I have some more knowledge I could drop too, when it comes to like I was saying, the Black community, and because I've I've learned
Do
a lot.
yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Write it down and save it for Sunday. Just save it. Save it right there. Because I'm gonna save. There's a couple of things that I want to be saving for Sunday too. And people are not going to like it, but oh well. Well, you have him. I'm here.
And
Yeah,
it's funny
I guess you
because-
got. I guess you got a new best friend.
Well, no, because they were saying that it's funny you said that too, Lisa, because they were saying that live shows don't have that much replay value, but with the sister you had on here earlier, I'm sure she could, grab a few minutes of somebody's attention. They might go back and watch it. So.
Oh yeah, you definitely watch the replay. Definitely watch the replay. I would suggest that other people would go ahead and watch the replay of Mrs. Lewis Glenn really putting the smack it down on your candy asses. Definitely. And like I said, call a friend, tell a friend, like and subscribe to the channel, see the replay, and I will definitely be seeing you very, very soon, Emma. And I will definitely be seeing all of you very, 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 very soon. Take care.